Hi everyone, my name is Pathullah Shah and this is the lab part of Engineering Mechanic course for batch 2019 section A, B and C. In this lab, we will learn how to find the reaction of simply supported beam. So this is the sequence of my today presentation. I will first give the introduction of this experiment followed by the objective. Then I will discuss the procedure. After procedure, we will learn how to calculate the reaction of beam. Then I will tell you guys what you have to do next. So coming towards the introduction part. So first, what is beam? Beam is a horizontal structure member subjected to transverse loading. So here we can see that this is a horizontal member. It is subjective, and here we also can see that a horizontal member. It is subjective to transverse type of loading. Okay, and this loading is transferred to other structure member through different type of support. Here we can see that the load is transferred from a beam on a walls. So first type of support is a roller support. Is a type of support which only resists vertical forces. Then we have a hinge or pin support which resists not only vertical but also resists horizontal forces. And then we have a fixed support. Apart from vertical and horizontal forces, it also resists moments. So coming towards the type of beam, we have different type of beam. First one is which is very simple, is known as simply supported beam. It consists of pin and a roller support. So a beam which has one span and consists of pin and a roller support is known as simply supported beam. Then we have fixed supported beam. A beam whose both ends are fixed is known as fixed supported beam. Then we have a continuous beam. So a beam whose span is more than 1 is known as continuous beam. So this is span 1, span 2, span 3. So it's known as continuous beam. Then we have cantilever beam. A beam whose one end is fixed, another is free is known as cantilever beam. A beam whose one end is fixed, another is roller is known as cantilever simply supported beam and also known as prop cantilever beam. So different type of loading are subjective on a beam. First one is a point concentrated load. So only a point load is act on a beam. So it's known as a point concentrated load. Then we have uniformly distributed load. So then we have uniformly distributed load. Load is uniformly distributed along the span of beam. Then we have varying distributed load. So these are the different type of load which you guys will encounter during engineering mechanics course. So what we have to do, what is the objective of our experiment? We have to determine the reaction of simply supported beam experimentally using spring balances. And then we have to compare those results with analytical solution which is determined using condition of equilibrium. So apparatus consist of simply supported beam model. We required weights, hanger, spring balance and meter rod to take measurements. So here we can see this is a picture of the apparatus, beam model apparatus. So these are the two spring balances which measure the reaction. This is the span of the beam and with the help of hanger we apply the load. So in our case what we have first, this is the span. With the help of spring balance we will measure one one reaction, and the other spring balance will give us the second reaction, and we will apply the load along the span at different points. First we will apply the center with the help of hanger, and this spring balance will give us the reading of the reaction. Coming toward the procedure, first you have to set up the apparatus and note the initial reading of spring balances, because these readings are due to the self weight of the beam and this is the zero error of each spring balance. Then you have to put the hanger at the center with the weight and note down the reading. Okay, first what you have to do, you have to set the beam apparatus, note the spring balance initial reading. Then you have to apply weight at the center of beam, and after applying weight you again observe the reading of spring balance. Okay, so these spring balance reading you will subtract from the zero error, so it will give you the reaction which is produced as a result of applying load at the center of the beam. So after that you will change the position of load and repeat the same experiment. You will record all the data in a table form, and at the end you will calculate the reaction analytically for each apply load and will find the percentage error between analytical result and experimental results. So coming towards the calculations part, so you have to tabulate the data of experiment in this form. So first let's suppose this is the beam model and the span length is 120 centimeter. And the load you have applied at the center, the load is applied at a distance 60 centimeter from spring balance 1. And the error in spring balance 1 is 2 Newton and the error in spring balance 2 is 5 Newton. After applying 10 Newton at the center, the spring balance 1 reading is 7 Newton and spring balance 2 reading is 10 Newton. To find the reaction you have to minus reading of spring balance 1 from its error. So when you subtract 7 to 2 you get 5 Newton, and when you subtract spring balance 2 reading which is 10 from its zero error you will get 5. So in this case the reaction of both the supports came out 5. Now how we will solve it analytically? First, this is simply supported beam. We will apply first condition of equilibrium, which is submission of forces should be 0. So here in case let's suppose this is V1, this is V2. So V1 plus V2 is equal to 10 which we apply at the center. The next we apply the second condition of equilibrium because we have two unknown. So let's suppose I take moment at this point. So V2 into L minus 10 into X. Let's suppose I call this distance X is equal to 0. Okay. So then I will put the value of X which is 60 centimeter. So after that I get the value of V2 is 5 Newton. Then I will apply it into equation 1. So I will get the other reaction which is also 5 Newton. So this is how we will perform experimental and then analytical calculation for each increment of load at varying point along the span length of the beam. So what you guys have to do next? You have to watch the part 2 of this experiment, which is the lab tutorial of experiment number 4. Then the data of the experiment is provided you guys in Excel sheet. You have to analyze it and calculate analytical, and then you have to compare the result. And after that you have to submit me the report. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.